Devin Shackelford. Just for a minute, I think I'm correct in this. Amy Patterson is not here tonight. Is that correct? Okay, Devin, I'm sorry, I just assumed you were at the concert too. I saw your mom here, but I assumed you were here. Hold, go sit right there. Amy Patterson, sorry. I skipped Scott Kyle?
Yeah. Go back.
I'm going to how did I do that?
Start all over.
Yeah, I keep making fun of Georgia Tech, and that UGA alphabet education is not doing me very well today. So I'll come back to you, Scott. You'll be before Devin then. Who went? Amy Patterson. So Amy skipped out on her boyfriend's last AYWS concert to be here tonight.
I had a reservation.
Good decision. That's a good decision. Amy also is a four-year member of the Pit, and you talk about musical growth. She's one of those kids that is first to get there, last to leave kind of stuck kind of kid when it comes to moving equipment, to making sure everything was done. And her, again, with Lauren, it's just been a joy to watch her grow musically and to have such a blast in the marching band. I think you've had a good time. All right, Devin? Scott. Sorry. You're on the list, I just can't see. It's these reading glasses. I don't want to put glasses on. I should probably. I'm going to talk a little bit about Scott, but I'm also going to talk in this conversation, I'm going to talk a little bit about Amy and about Catherine. When Scott came into the Dunwoody High School band, there was an older horn player, Connor Wheeler. And this is kind of I am going to talk about Scott, and I want to tell him he needs to be very humble and thankful for a lot of his musical success to Connor. And I'm going to challenge the whole rising senior class to be this guy for the people around him. It's a legacy. Connor is majoring in music now. I've always had such a blessing of horns here at the school. If you've heard any of our concerts, horn section is just always solid, reliable. 3 of our 5 horn players in our band are in DYS, if that lets you, DuCavity Symphony, if that lets you know anything. Just phenomenal high school players. But when Connor left, the responsibility for maintaining that musical leadership in that horn section fell to Scott. And what he did, he tried out for All-State band at least, was it every year or just 3 years? Every year. He made All-State Orchestra this year, which is the equivalent of making All-State Band. And I think the reason he did is because he let something go. He'd been taking lessons, he'd been working, he'd been trying. I think at the end of the day, he let his playing relax and speak for itself. And was monstrously successful, both singing and on horn. And Amy, I think you would say that you've gotten a lot better because of that guy. And Catherine would say next year that she's much better because of you. So all of you have a great legacy going back at least 5 years to some wonderful horn playing. I've chosen pieces specifically because of the strength of our horn section and loved it. I try not to talk about Anna a lot, but Anna will say that a lot of the band music that I listen to at home or when I'm planning, she'll roll her eyes, she'll go, wow, it's a great horn part. And say, yes it is. And the horn section in our band can darn sure play it. So to you younger horn players, keep it up. This time last year, this kid was not as good as he is now. So his senior year, his playing and his overall musicianship just took off. I think for college, he's being pulled in the journalism direction. Is that right? Or did that change too? But I sincerely hope that you never give up music, because it's you're wonderful at it. Devin, try it. It seems very unlikely that this could happen, but Devin's freshman year, he auditioned for All-State and Honor Band on tenor sax. For a freshman, I thought, man, this kid's a great tenor sax player. He passed to the second round to audition for the Georgia All-State 9th and 10th grade band, but didn't qualify for honor band. And I said, how is that possible? And he said, and the honor band folks said, well, I mean, we take like 1 or 2 tenor saxes, and Devin was 3. And I said, that's ridiculous. I said, how is it possible that potentially a kid, and at the time he had a legitimate shot at playing in the Georgia All-State band, I said, how can you let a kid from DeKalb County go to the All-State band and not participate in district band? And since then, that's been changed. Because I pointed out, it's ridiculous if you have this marvelously talented kid. He could be first-year All-State, not in DeKalb County, no. But through the years, where Devin has contributed so much is in our jazz band. And don't get me wrong, he's a wonderful symphonic player, and he's been great in the marching band, serving in various leadership capacities. But really a go-to player, Kendall Lowry, you have him to thank as well, go-to reliable player in jazz band. If you were fortunate enough to hear our Limited Days performance about 3 weeks ago, it was cool. I mean, just everything is locked in. And a large part of that success that you can feel rightfully credited with, because his playing was just always so reliable. He's also one of those kids who took the drum major podium in and out from rehearsal, who made sure water was up there, and who did kind of a lot of dirty work that doesn't normally get appreciated by the band members at large, but it was appreciated by me. Am I back on alphabetical track? Yes. I hope the next person is Eric Sheffer. Eric, have you attained your Eagle Scout?
No.
Okay, Eric is very active in scouting. And the reason I ask is because, like I said Nathan is good. Eric's a leader. Eric is one of those leaders who has an ability to very insightfully and calmly get to the end. And I think that as an adult, that is a very, very good quality to have. It's not that he's a quiet person, but he is a very calm and centered person. And when you are trying to mediate issues between two people who are arguing, that's a really great personality type to have. Sometimes that type of leadership is really hard to see, because the bombastic leaders, the ones that yell all the time, or I mean those are obvious leadership traits. But this one is potentially much more useful. He started out on baritone. I don't really know what your native instrument was in middle school, but don't worry, but baritone. And last year switched to the bari sax and was monstrously successful. There's nothing really that's similar about the playing of those two instruments. One is a brass instrument, one is a woodwind instrument. They're completely different. But the musical leadership just came right through, and the way the saxophone section was led this past marching season is a testament to the strength of that quiet leadership. It was wonderful to see. Sierra Sitar.
Hey.
Wow. Also, on a personal note, one of my daughter's very good friends, and I appreciate the comfort and support this past year that you've shown to all of us. It seems like in every picture that I took with Anna for homecoming or for prom, Sarah's lurking somewhere close by. And she's in this group of kids that have just become so dear to me. She's another clarinet player that I've just seen such incredible musical growth in over the last 4 years. Coming in as a freshman, I think everything, because when you come in as a freshman from middle school, the level of difficulty jumps up considerably, instantly, from the level that kids play in 8th grade. And there's some players that make that transition quite well, and there's some players that struggle. And of those players that struggle, they're just as in any other area of life, there's some that give up. And Sierra didn't give up. She, I think, realized where she needed to make improvements, and she did. And hearing her play, she's in second period band class this semester, and hearing her play really, really challenging music, and looking at her, and I'd ask her very often, "You're playing that with confidence?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure I am." That was not the case 4 years ago. Remarkable growth as a musician, remarkable growth as a person, and I'm going to miss you really terribly.